Hello, my friends. My name is Angie Hipple. If this is your first time at the Judah channel, welcome. I'm so glad that you are here. You're in for a treat. And if you're returning, you're a family member, we're so glad that you're here. Tonight's topic is laughter as worship? Question mark? Is laughter worship? We're going to dive into that. But first, we're going to hear from Judah, and they can talk about anything that's on their mind. So let's begin. Hello, dear and precious ones all around the world. It is with great delight that we are here, and we are making space within the vessel and her inner being in order to bring in more and more and more and then more of our presence. We hear her asking in the background, Judah, please. I am limited in my understanding, in my capacity, in my healing. Please bring as much of you through as possible. She is asking for what is known as an oversoul drop-in, and we will accommodate. Precious ones, do not take your life so seriously. We understand many of you have encountered many opportunities in your life of struggle, opportunities of suffering, of pain, of hurt, of fear. And these are a beautiful part of your existence, but they are only a part of it. They are not all of it. We are here to give you an infusion of joy. Joy is a level of consciousness. We want you to know that it is a level of consciousness. Sometimes it can be brought on by certain experiences, interactions, and collaborations that you have with others, other people, other places, other things that can stir this remembrance of joy in you. But we want you to know the joy doesn't come from the outside, it comes from the inside. It is your essence. It is an aspect of exactly who and what you are in the higher dimensional realms. It is your God state. And when you experience joy, real joy, you are experiencing God. You are experiencing presence. You are experiencing yourself as that. You are experiencing yourself merging in with God. You are merging in with joy. God is many times referred to as love. Yes, God is love, but God is also joy. And to be truly loved in this life or any lifetime, in any realm of time and space, is to experience joy. There is nothing more joyful than giving and receiving true unconditional love. Some of you are saying, Judah, I have nothing to laugh about. We understand that many times your circumstances are difficult, but you can even laugh at that. Yes, and in the laughing of it, there is freedom. Yes, this vessel was listening again to one of her favorite stories this week by the beautiful and beloved Byron Katie, who is an enlightened, fully enlightened being walking the earth today. And in her story of enlightenment, she was agoraphobic, very frightened. She'd spent many years locked up in her bedroom, rarely going out of her bedroom, rarely, even rarer still, going out of her household. When she found her way to a halfway house for some help, and she felt so sad, so despairing, so unworthy that she would not even sleep in the bed that was provided for her. She would only sleep on the floor. And in a moment of time, in this desperate condition, which she had acclimated to and had been her conscious experience for many years, a cockroach crawled across her leg, and instantly she was birthed into total remembrance of the truth of her divinity and the divinity of all that is. And in that moment, she began to laugh and laugh and laugh and laugh and laugh, understanding that it is all a cosmic joke. Yes, reality is not what you think it is. Reality is what it is. And there is joy in all of reality. There is joy in every experience of reality. Joy is an opportunity in every experience. In every experience. Yes, 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 yes. And even today, as the vessel prepared and approached this time, this evening, to talk about laughter as worship, as is so the case many times for many of you and for this vessel, there were ego parts that wanted to present their complaints about why this was a bad topic, complaints about why there is nothing to feel happy about, and so on. And what about this person doing this thing and this person doing that thing? And there's so much sadness about this and that. And what do I do about the other? And so, problem focus is a function of the egoic mind, it is a function of injury to your ego parts. And so the resistance came a calling. And it may as well for you tonight. Resistance may come a calling and say, I have nothing to laugh about, nothing to be happy about, or I can't remember the last time I felt joyful. Well, we want to tell you that there is a remembrance coming for you. It is a supernatural occurrence. It is like that one of the dear Katie we spoke of, a supernatural occurrence where joy breaks in on your being. Joy is a frequency. It is high vibrational. It is quickly, fastly, speedily oscillating. And this is what you feel when you really laugh. Do you remember the last time that you had a big belly laugh, as they say? A belly laugh originates from your sentience, from your solar plexus, from the area of the sentience in your body. And when it occurs and it is true and not conjured by the mind or by nervousness or anxiety, when it is a true laughter birthed from joy, from your sentience, from your solar plexus center, it erupts like a volcano erupting, and you cannot suppress it. You can't stop it. Even if you're in a supposedly inappropriate place for laughter, when it comes, you can't push it down. It is coming forward. It is like lava erupting from the volcano. It is full of fire. It is full of life. It is full of life force energy. So we want you to have more and more of these experiences. We want you to continue in your daily washing of your inner being and your love and care for your injured ego parts so that you can reach this evolved state of joy, not just to experience it momentarily or occasionally when the right circumstances and people and places collide, but we want you to experience it as the new normal for yourself. We want laughter to be your food, to be your portion, to nourish you. Laughter is so very nourishing. And when you fall into difficult, challenging experiences, give yourself the gift of laughter. Watch things that make you laugh. Why watch things that make you sad, make you feel despairing, or hopeless? Bring more and more joy into your life. Laughter is a high worship. It is a place in which you touch heaven for a moment. You touch heaven in a crossroads, a crossroads of your circumstance and your essence crossing together, and in that place there is joy, there is laughter. Good, 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 good. Receive our joy. Receive joy. Receive joy. Receive joy. Receive joy. Good. Hello, beautiful ones. I have some notes here for you on laughter as a worship. I actually heard this phrase this week, laughter is worship, and I thought, what? What? That sounds like a topic. And so let's dive into it. Mark Twain said, the human race has only one truly effective weapon, and that is laughter. That is laughter. And I wish that for everyone who's in a war-torn country tonight. I wish a moment of laughter. When we think about the word worship for a moment, we're talking about laughter and worship, and are the two the same? The word worship for me has all kinds of ego conditioning and packaging around it. Maybe it does for you too, if you were brought up in a religious upbringing like myself. And when we think about worship, it's associated with ritual, associated with some type of formal or ceremonious honor paid to God, paid to angels, enlightened masters, sacred people, sacred places like Machu Picchu or Teotihuacan. So when we think about worship, we think about these sacred rituals, sacred places, saintly people, or divinity, angels and divinity. And so the definition of worship is to feel an adoring reverence or regard for a person or a thing. And it comes from the original word worthship, worthship. So a long time ago, when ships were the only means of travel, way before airplanes were ever invented, if you were going to leave your homeland, let's say Europe, for the new country of, let's say, America or Canada or South America, you would only take the most valuable, sacred things that you had to take with you. So only the things that were worthy of making a really long journey. So this is where we get this word worship from, worthship. So our upbringing and our life experiences have likely shaped our ideas of worship. But tonight I want to turn that on its head. And I want to say that worship is laughter. But before we get that, think about your upbringing and your conditioned experiences or ideas about worship. Maybe they were getting dressed up in your Sunday best. When I was a little girl, I had ruffled panties and ruffled socks and patent leather shoes that were terribly uncomfortable, itchy little dresses that you could only stand to wear for 2 hours anyway for church. And this was some of my earlier imprints of worship. One of my earliest imprints of worship was seeing a beautiful stained glass window of Jesus with the little children all around him. And that was a beautiful imprint for me. Maybe your ideas of worship are reciting prayers like Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Yeah, if you were from a Jewish tradition. Or maybe it's bowing, if you were Islamic, bowing at certain times of the day and saying certain types of prayers, or maybe touching your mala beads, singing hymns. Bow if you were from a traditional Indian spiritual tradition. Maybe it was bowing and touching the feet of your master. These are all things that we equate with worship. My story, a little of my story, was that there were a lot of things that were really challenging and difficult for me around my religious upbringing, but I always loved the worship. I loved the singing. I loved the music. I loved the instruments. And as I got older and left my more fundamentalist tradition that I had been raised in by my parents, I chose churches that were much more free with this creative expression, because I loved the creativity of the music and the drums and the bass and the dancers and the banners, and all of that was really nourishing for me, because I'm a really creative person. And so I had a beautiful association with this worship. Now, when I was in my early 20s, there was something really cool that happened in the world. It was an awakening. It was a true spiritual awakening. And I had the privilege of being a part of this true spiritual awakening for a couple of years. And unfortunately, so a lot of the benefit that came to me from that time kind of went dormant after that time. But this was a worldwide happening that was called the Toronto Blessing, or it was also called the Refreshing. And let me tell you what it was like during those days. We would go to church sometimes every night or every time I got a chance I would go because this major awakening was happening. And what was happening is people would come to church and start laughing involuntarily, unprovoked by seemingly anything that was going on. I mean, the service was kinda just the usual thing that it always had been in this tradition, but people were laughing. And I mean, not just laughing, they were laughing uncontrollably, sometimes for hours. And people would get on the floor and roll around and laugh hysterically till tears were pouring down their faces and make crazy noises and do silly things with their body. And there were a lot of people that said, "Oh, this is just fake." And, you know, people out from the outside in observing had all kinds of explanations about what was going on. But I can tell you, I was there, and what was happening was real spirit. It was real spirit. You could feel it even when you get into the parking lot in some of these spiritual awakening centers. You would be in the parking lot, and before you even got out of the car, you would feel this drunk feeling coming over you. And that's for a lot of us, right? That can be part of the reason why, if you like to drink alcohol, people are attracted to it because they lose their inhibitions, they begin to relax, they can laugh, be more open and allowing. And this is not an advertisement for alcohol, by the way. I don't drink alcohol at all. But this during this spiritual sensation that was happening in the 80s, you would immediately feel this drunken laughter come over you. And I could stay in this state sometimes for hours or even days. Now, I had a funny story about during this period of time. Actually, well, a couple of things. One thing that was really cool during this period of time is I received a supernatural gift to play the piano and write songs. Now, when I was a very young little girl, I had taken a few piano lessons for several years, and it was kind of torturous making myself practice. And sometimes I loved it, sometimes I hated it. And I kind of dropped it when I got to be a teenager in favor of singing. Well, when this awakening was happening and I was a part of it, I literally got a download of supernaturally how to play the piano. Suddenly, after years of not playing at all and really playing pretty poorly, I will say, I sat down at the piano and could just play like a dream, like I could perform publicly. It was that good. It was just a download. And I began writing songs. I wrote my very first collection of songs during that time that eventually became my first record. So what was happening there? It was just spirit. It was just spirit, unstructured. It was spirit blowing up the structures of the church and the services and the tradition and the rituals of worship. All of that was being shot to hell. And there were a lot of people in the church realm that were very upset about all this goings on. But it was just pure spirit. And as you lay in this laughter and allowed the laughter to just roll through you, in you, out of you, what happened is people began to have dramatic emotional and physical healings. They felt loved. They felt loved, truly loved by divinity, by spirit. And so that was part of what I wanted to share with you. Now, we have glimpses of that in some of our Judah meetings, in our satsang meetings. Um, People that come to us in the Judah family are from every walk of life. There are people who are atheists. There are people who are agnostic. There are people who have come out of certain religious traditions and backgrounds, and everyone is welcome here. And so, what we're doing at the Judah channel is we're not trying to create some new religion. That is not at all what we are doing, and we are not a cult. And the reason I can tell you definitively that we are not is because everyone coming to the Judah channel is encouraged to find their own truths inside and live in alignment with that, even if it seems to be at odds with what we're sharing. We are supporting you in that. So, in some of our satsang meetings, some of these different people from different walks of life that come will experience this spontaneous laughter. And it is so fun. It is so fun. You feel this feeling of drunkenness come over you and just the irrepressible laughter. And it's just delightful. And in scripture, the Holy Spirit is, there's a metaphor used for the Holy Spirit, and the metaphor is wine. So in spirit, sometimes we can have this high vibrational experience of feeling kind of saucy and laughing. And it's really beautiful. And it really doesn't need explanation or understanding. It just needs to be enjoyed. So one of the things I wanted to mention tonight, in case you don't know, is Judah. The actual word is a Hebrew word from antiquity, and it means praise. And so when I experience Judah in my life personally, on a personal level, I experience in them usually in one of two ways. Now, they might surprise me and do something completely new and different, and I'm open for that. But up until now, it's been one of two things. When I experience them, one way is that they come with enormous strength and fire like a lion. And they are ancient Lyran beings that migrated to Sirius A at some point in their ancient history. And so they are lion like feline beings. And so sometimes when I experience this strength and fire they bring, it's with these kind of mannerisms of a lion, like snorting or sniffing or shaking their mane. I experience these types of phenomenons with them. And now some of you have also had visits from this lion. Judah appears to you as a lion. Many people have had these experiences. Now, the second way that I experience them that's relevant to tonight is I experience this uncontrollable laughter when they drop in fully and I receive 100% of their, and I don't know that it's 100%, but it feels to me like that, 100% of them invading me, my little person. I will laugh uncontrollably. Recently, I was in Austin and we were recording some really fun things for Next Level Soul, which will be coming out in the future. New things for the streaming TV. I won't blow it yet. I won't tease you too much with it. But that night, after about 4 hours of channeling in the studios with Alex and his beautiful wife, um, I guess Judah was super happy about it. Maybe they know some stuff that I don't know about the future and all that's going to come from that. But I literally, they woke me up in the middle of the night and I laughed for about, it seemed like 2 hours straight, just uncontrollable laughing and joy. It was so much fun. It felt like 500 little kids that just woke up on a Christmas morning packed into my body. It's really beyond explanation. It's a bliss that really is, defies words. So Judah has this joy to give you, right? And if you can just lean into your relationship with them and ask them, say, Judah, please give me the experience of your joy that Angie's talking about, and then anticipate and receiving it in answer. So redefining laughter in worship tonight. True worship can't be defined to a ritual. And that's what I felt for me. My takeaway from this thing called the Toronto Blessing, this major spiritual awakening during that time, is that spirit, source, all that is, the joy, the frequency of joy in this glorious field of consciousness that we call God, was just busting up the Christian party, just blowing it all up, blowing up the traditions, the dogmas, the, Sunday best that I was talking about, wear your best dress and put on your best mask and pretend like you're okay. Spirit just came and just blew all that up for thousands of people around the world for a long time. It was something that we needed the relief of just laughing about it all. We'd just gotten way too serious in our relationship with Christ consciousness. So true worship can't be defined to a ritual. And if we have certain rituals that we've done maybe you're already, maybe you're still in a religious background, and that's totally fine. Maybe you're still in a religious affiliation, Or maybe you've dropped your religious affiliation or never had one to begin with, and now you kind of have your new age rituals, like, I don't know, like toning or sound baths or meditating or bowing before the picture of your master. I don't know what your rituals are, but one of the things that the rituals can be grounding and they can be helpful, but they can also wind up being dead and lifeless too, and they can outlive their usefulness. And sometimes we need to kind of wake up and realize, oh, I don't know why I'm even doing this anymore. I've just totally gone unconscious with this thing that I'm doing, and it's not having any effect on me. It's not blessing me. It's not helping me. I don't know why I'm doing it. I think I need to stop or I need to do something different. So real worship is not a ritual. It can't be confined to a ritual. Real worship is the frequency of joy. It's a high oscillating energy. When you laugh, when you genuinely laugh, you can't stop it, can you? It's just an energy that just bubbles up through you, and you can't squish it down. You can try. You ever been in a place and started laughing inappropriately and you try not to, and that just makes it all the worse, right? So real worship is a frequency, it's a vibration, it's an electrical experience running through your body, your mind, your emotions, everything all at once, your entire personal field. And you can't confine that, assign it to a ritual. So, you might have an experience of laughter and joy within a ritual, within a spiritual ritual, but know that it's not because of the ritual. It's not caused by the ritual. It just so happened that it occurred while you were partaking in this ritual. You know, real joy, real laughter, and this high worship that I'm talking about, it doesn't need a sacred context at all. One time, after Judah came, some months into it, I had dropped into this really deep, blissful place. It was a really high kind of satori. I was there for a few days. And one morning when I was in this state, I got up to start a load of laundry, just like I've done a million times in my life, and so have you. And as I poured the liquid detergent into the little cup that you pour it into, I watched the liquid pouring out from the mouth of that, the spigot or the top, and I went boom. I can't even explain what happened, but I was just overtaken with the wonder of the way that liquid flows. It was like I was one with that liquid, and it was so beautiful to me, the way it was flowing out of the mouth in that little drip. I can't even explain it. Like I said, it's hard to put words to it, but it was something so normal, so everyday that we don't pay any attention to. Yet that thing, that act of pouring that liquid detergent was full of, it was like all the wonders and mysteries of the universe or somehow could be explained through this flow or something. I can't even, give words, as I said. So, true worship, again, is not confined to a ritual, a sacred space or location, or a sacred person. True worship is everywhere, all the time, in everything you do, taking out the trash, wiping poop off your child's behind. I mean, whatever it is, there can be this experience of profound worship in, as Judah was speaking in the beginning, in the channeling about Byron Katie. Her moment of profound worship came when a cockroach crawled across her leg while she was laying on the floor. Go figure. So we tend to think that joy is going to come when we marry the right person or meet the right partner or get the right apartment or finally get rid of that old junky car we have and get something reliable and la 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 la, all these out exterior things. No, choice right here. It's in here. It's just remembering it. Joy is a state, laughter is a state of elevated consciousness. Worship is not a gift that we need to give to God. God does not need our worship. We can't add anything to the majesty and the glory and the extravagance of what God is. God is already joy. God is joy. Yeah. And so God doesn't want or need worship. What is worship? It's a state of coherence, it's a state of alignment, it's a state, an inner state of being at one, being whole, being at ease, being in joy. You know, Osho, who is beloved in our house, he is the master, was the master of Chuck for many years. Chuck lived with him many years. And he's a precious gift to this world because of the generation that he was with us. We had video, we had audio, and so much of him, his essence, his teachings has been captured for us to continue to learn and grow from and be in his presence. But one of the things that made him so unique were the jokes that he told. I mean, really offensive jokes. Not PC jokes at all. He told the most hilarious jokes. And the funny thing about him is he could tell them with a total deadpan face. Every now and then you'd see him smirk or giggle a little bit. And, you know, I think he knew something. He knew something that I'm trying to communicate here with you tonight, and that laughter is healing. And it's all a big joke anyway. And we should not take our spirituality too seriously. When we do that, it kills the fun and the joy of it. And then we start judging ourselves. There's something wrong with me. There's something, or judging other people. There's something wrong with this situation, you know? And who cares? Like, why would you want to be a spiritual person if it meant being miserable? I mean, I would just hang it up and just move on to some other pursuits, right? So when laughter is natural, unforced, when it arises spontaneously, it's the sound of alignment. It's the sound of you getting aligned with who you really are. Laughter emerges when you, the observer, becomes totally resonant with what is, with whatever's going on, right? You drop something and it spills all over the floor, makes a big mess. You can just laugh. If you just laugh about it, then you are in resonance with your higher self, and you are in resonance with allowing whatever is going on and being okay with it. Laughing is a remembrance of your higher self. When we laugh together, we're worshiping together. That's what we're doing. Laughter is the sound of duality dissolving. It's the sound of right, wrong, good, bad, saint, sinner, you oughta, you shoulda. It's the sound of that dissolving, collapsing. Laughter is polarity collapsing. Every great awakening includes laughter. It's true. Laughter is the purest tone. I mean, is there anything sweeter than watching or listening to a baby laugh? I have a friend who has resigned herself, her spiritual, you know what her spiritual algorithm is for growing spiritually? Watching little babies and little kids laugh, silly little videos on YouTube, or silly animals doing crazy things. Yeah. Yeah. Laughter is that pure tone. If you tonight, your soul was a tuning fork, laughter would be the sound of you tuning fork. If I struck the tuning fork of your soul, laughter would be the sound of you. You are the sound of laughter. Consciousness is an electrical field a field of light, a field of light, life force energy, white light protons of energy. And our emotions are waves in that field. So our emotions are like a pebble dropped in a pond. If you ever toss a rock out into the pond and it starts a wave spreading out through that pond. So emotions, our emotions, whatever they are, sadness, joy, anger, anxiety, fear, whatever it is, it's a ripple in consciousness, right? So when we have this experience of laughter, genuine laughter, it's an energetic phenomenon in the field of consciousness. It's literally a scalar inversion, which is a really technical term. What is a scalar inversion? It's a moment when what is dissonant, what's tense, what's polarized, what's resistant stops, melts, goes away. So, we come into harmony when we laugh. So I have my piano here, so I'm going to play a couple of notes for you. This is an interval of harmony. This is a chord of harmony. But I can press two notes that are dissonant, right? Those two notes are really dissonant. They're too close. And so what laughter does is it just kind of explodes that dissonance, that disharmony, disunity, resistance, polarity, stuckness. It just dissipates it in a moment. So one big secret, right? When you're struggling with your ego, maybe you're doing that same old thing you do all the time and you can't stand it and you haven't gotten a breakthrough yet because you dropped your Judah Treats subscription. Just kidding. That was a joke. Could be true though. When you feel that dissonance, that resistance, laugh at yourself. Oh my gosh, I'm doing it again. Oh well, this is my ego. Oh, so what? Why? Yeah, and try to laugh at yourself. Be easy, gentle with yourself. If your little one, your baby, let's say, does something, I don't know, they stand up and they're trying to stand up for the first time and they plop right down, back down on their butt and they're not successful. You don't scream at them. You don't yell at them. You laugh with them. You laugh about it. Uh-oh, no big deal. Let's try again, right? So laughter collapses into coherence and harmony and unity, what we've been struggling with. It dissolves our struggles, our sorrows, our contradictions, our paradoxes. They're suddenly resolved in a moment of awareness. And aren't those the funniest shows and comedians that we watch? Why do we laugh so hard? Because they are showing us a different perspective of reality. Usually when we laugh at a joke or a comedian, they're doing a reenactment of some everyday normal human experience. And the way they retell it just allows us to release our own struggle with that very same thing. The best comedians are mirroring our struggles to us. They are putting on display our struggles for us. And they give us this gift to let go of our cares and concerns. I recently heard a speech that Jim Carrey did to a graduating class of in a spiritual university. I believe it was Maharishi's University, to their graduate students. And he said that his purpose in life was to alleviate people of their concerns. Isn't that beautiful? What a beautiful purpose. And so many of you, I hear from you all the time, you're asking Judah, what is my purpose? What is my purpose? And lately, Judah's been having me respond to this by saying, your purpose can be found when you don't know what it is. You will find it when you see magic coming through you, magic between you and another person, right? What do I mean by that? Maybe you're just listening to a friend. Maybe a friend's going through a hard time and you're listening to them. And a couple days later, they come to you and they say, I feel so much better. I don't know what you did, but just you listening to me, it made me feel so much better. I've had a major turnaround. That's your magic. Follow the magic. Where are you bringing magic into people's lives? Maybe it's playing an instrument. Maybe it's investing their funds. Maybe it's in tutoring children that are neurodivergent. I don't know what it is, but you'll know it because you'll see the magic. You see the results seem magical, seem miraculous. Yeah. And in the meantime, get a bunch of laughter in as much as you can. Much as you can. Yeah. All right. Laughter resolves our struggles in a moment of awareness. So, what is laughter? It's a moment of awareness. It's a moment of remembering it's all a big joke anyway. The gift of it is it's a release from tension. It brings us back to our 0 point. It's a sacred moment when the illusion that we're separate from other people, places, and things, that illusion implodes. It just kind of blows up. And we realize it in this moment of laughter. Laughter's gift is that it disrupts our rigid attachment to things, how things should be, how things should go. It disrupts all of those thought structures and the judgments. And oh, I'll tell you one little story about me laughing really hard years ago. So, some of you may have seen at Christmas time, there's always this app that comes out on our cell phone, and it's called Elf Yourself. And it gives you these little Christmas elves and these bebop tunes, these wild, happy tunes or rap music or whatever. And you put your face, a photograph of yourself, on the body of these little elves, and you let them dance and do their crazy things they do. Well, one year, my mom was still living, and I was making an Elf Yourself video of our family, and I put my mom's head on this little elf body, and this little elf body with my mom's head on it was suddenly dancing to this crazy rap music that my very strictly religious pastor's wife, Baptist minister's wife, mother would never move her body in an inappropriate way, much less listen to rock and roll. Well, I put her face on that elf, and she was dancing away like a wild woman, and it got me to laughing. And I laughed hysterically every time I would look at this. I would laugh my head off. Why? Because all these rigid structures, right, that my mom imposed on me accidentally, unmeaning to. Don't move your body, don't enjoy music, don't have fun, don't laugh. And so seeing her do that broke that rigid structure inside of me, that internal parent, that mother voice that I had internalized. It just popped it in that laughter. And the laughter was so healing. Laughter causes a shift in our autonomic nervous system. It heals our body. If you are sick or chronically ill, as you are healing yourself with Judah and Judah treats, listen to a lot of funny things. Listen to things that make you laugh. Laughter decreases the levels of cortisol in our body. And cortisol is the chemical that our body releases when we're under stress or we're being threatened or we're in danger. It releases that cortisol into our body so that we can fight, freeze, fade, flee, fawn. It releases that chemical into our body. And so we need that laughter to decrease that so our body can come back into growth and repair. Yeah. And laughter helps to activate our parasympathetic nervous system. Laughter is the experience in which your mind, your emotions, and your body and your larger field of consciousness, your higher dimensional self, experience harmony, unity consciousness. We hear this phrase, unity consciousness. What does that mean? What does it mean in a practical way? Laughter can be a vehicle to bring you into unity consciousness. Laughter affects your mind, your body, your emotional state, and your personal field of consciousness. And it brings you into coherence, into harmony. So to laugh is to re-enter the God field, to re-enter the God field from which you came. To laugh is to remember momentarily that reality is just a big, beautiful joke and love is the punchline. Beautiful. Okay, I had so much fun tonight, and I hope to hear your stories. You can put them in the comments below about the laughter that comes to you and the joy you experience. Call on you to ask them to bring you into laughter. If you have a good joke that you want to share, you can also put that in the comments below. That would be lots of fun. Or if you have any other God moments of laughing, I'd love to hear about those. We have the Journey of the True You coming up September 8th. I would love for you to be there. It's a 12-week transformative experience. So transformative. You get 2 personal sessions with me during that time as a part of that. You get Judah Treats, the True You Accelerator course. We have 2 hours of class together each week. You're going to meet good friends from all around the world. And we're going to work through all your stuck places as they come up. I will be there to support you for that. It's a really special time. I'd love to see you there. Also, we have a summit in September coming up. It's virtual, so everybody can come, with Next Level Soul. And we have the links available on our website, thejudachannel.com. I will be there with Daryl Anka and Bashar, with Sarah Landon and the Council, and with Sheila Gillette and Theo, and then myself and Judah. It's going to be an incredible weekend. I'm so honored, so thrilled. I would love to see you there. What else? Well, there's all kinds of things. Oh, Telegram. If you have not gotten on board with our Telegram, it is free. Just download the Telegram app if you don't already have it. Look for the Judah Family International. We have a loving crew of very happy, delightful, spiritually mature and wise people there. If you feel alone in your spiritual journey, if you struggle to find friends that understand what you're going through, or just need some support, jump on this Telegram feed. It is a true family. Some of these folks have met and fallen in love and gotten married. Some of them travel and meet each other in different cities and hang out and really have become real, true friends and supporters of one another. And they get silly on this feed too, and they have some good laughs together. I once had a gentleman say, I asked him, he was needing some support, and I asked him if he'd tried the Telegram group, and he's something like, well, yeah, but they always have those emojis and silly. It was just kind of silly and immature for me. And I didn't say anything, but I thought, uh-oh, womp womp. I could hear Judah in the background, womp womp. Because they do get really silly on this feed with all their emojis and their glyphs, or what do you call those things, and all that. And let me tell you, if that rubs you the wrong way, then you need that. You really need that. All right. Okay, I love you guys so much. I hope you laugh a lot this week. Big, big belly laughs. You bring me so much joy. It is a joy to serve you. I love my life. I love my life with you. You are so precious. I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you for being here. And if this message spoke something to you, please take a moment to share it with someone else. And if someone shared this video with you, just know that you're loved. They shared it with you because they care about you. They want you to be happy. They want you to experience joy. You have a real, true friend if someone shared this video with you. All right. Thank you, dear ones. I will see you next week for the Sunday night live stream.